Well, hi everyone. Welcome. I'm Bill Brown, as most of you know, and so glad that you have, number one, made it into the Colson Fellows Program, and number two, made it into Pathright. Two big steps. The rest from here is easy. I'm excited to be sharing this year with you. This is my fifth year being a major part of the Colson Fellows Program, and very excited to be walking with you. Chuck Colson had the idea of getting 100 or so people together every year for about 9 to 10 months, reading some of the best books on culture and worldview, then getting together and interacting about these books, and then listening to other people teach them, and then think about ways that they could apply what they've learned in the world around them. That program was called the Centurions. And Chuck led it so well, and it was remarkable. From 2004 into 2012, the program grew, and Chuck was there at the middle of it, and most people got involved with the program just so they could hang around with Chuck. But when Chuck passed away in 2012, it was really a game changer, not only for Prison Fellowship and the Colson Center, which were really one big organization, but after a couple of years, it was decided that the Colson Center would split off from Prison Fellowship. Since Chuck was the glue that held those two together, they felt it was time to see if the Colson Center could survive on its own. And not only have we survived, but it's amazing what God has done. After a year or so of the Colson Center operating, it was decided to reinstitute the Centurions program, and except rename it in Chuck's honor and call it the Colson Fellows Program. And as I said, this is the fifth year of starting it. We started with about 100 people that first year of rebooting it, and this year will be somewhere between 300 and 400, and that is exciting. People from all over the world. There's over 40 groups of you meeting around the country, groups meeting in different countries around the world, and it is exciting. And you'll all be studying the same thing, and it's exciting to know that there are so many other people going along with it, so you won't be alone. And I'm grateful that there are cohort leaders that will be encouraging you, helping you, mentoring you, and maybe in some way discipling you as well. But if nothing else, doing it with other people, I think, is an exciting part of the program itself. Now, this is just a very casual video. If I make mistakes, I'll just keep on going. You pray for me. But I want to give you some thoughts about the program itself that might help you along the way. First is there are a number of facets, a number of streams of input for the program, and there's a reason for that. Having information into your heart and into your mind in different ways is important, and they interact in ways that help you understand better. In fact, we take different subjects at times to put them into your head at the same time, about the same place, because that helps, I think, in being able to sharpen and grind against each other as you're thinking about specific issues. And I can be more specific about that as we go along, but nevertheless, I think you'll understand that there's a method in all that we're doing. Also, I want to encourage you to do something with the program every single day. The Apostle Paul told young Timothy to train yourself to be godly. And that's an athletic term. And we know what training is like. It's something that you do every day. You just don't do once and say, well, I'm done. I'm healthy. I'm fit. My heart is in good shape. I can just go on. It's not how it works, is it? No, you have to do something pretty much every day. And that's what we're asking you to do as well. That's what I'm recommending, actually. It's probably impossible to do something every day, but some things are designed to be daily. For example, the breakpoint, for you to listen or to read the breakpoint. It's very short, but to hear from John Stone Street and the people who write these wonderful breakpoints on a regular basis to give insight of what's going on in culture right now. Those are 5 days a week, as well as the devotionals. The devotionals start off pretty slow for a reason. We want you to get up to speed. You begin in understanding God's story, the narrative that God is unfolding in the world, the true narrative of the world, and that you get that ingrained in your mind. And so you're going to put the pencil to a few things, and you're going to be thinking through some things that you thought that you understood already. And as you work your way through, you're going to find the devotionals are going to move from understanding the scriptures to key points of doctrine for us to understand, to working our way all the way to developing our own mission and vision statement. Many of the Colson Fellows say the devotionals have been life-changing for them. And it's just because on a regular basis, as you dig into God's Word, the Word of God has a way of driving you to the God of the Word. And that's the whole idea, isn't it? It's just the foundation of what it means to be a world changer. It's an output, it's a byproduct of you following hard after God. So as you train yourself to be godly on a regular basis, you're going to be reading books, and I encourage you to read a little bit of the book that you're assigned for that month every day. And some books you'll read over, bits and pieces over the months. Sometimes you'll read one book in the month and so on, a couple of books at a time. And but spend some time in those every day. It doesn't have to be long. And in fact, if you spread it out, you'll find yourself, number one, remembering them more, and number two, getting through the books a lot faster than you thought. A lot of people will catch up on the weekends, and because work can be busy or at night or something, but try to get into a rhythm of input, prayer, and thinking about it, and talk to people about what you're learning. Talk to your spouse, or talk to some friends, or talk to some colleagues about what you're reading in Breakpoint, for example, or what you see in Mere Christianity, or in Making Sense of Your Faith, or in Nabil Qureshi's book, or whatever. There's so much meat in there, and so being able to share it with others and think out loud about it is really, really important. If you have questions about any of this, talk to your cohort leader, please. That's why he or she is there. The leader and the team is there. They've been through the program. They know what it's like, and they are excited about there are other people that they can walk through the program with them. So please be involved. As I said, there's almost 400 people this year in the program all over the world. And we are excited to be able to think out loud with people from Mumbai, India, or Australia, or Singapore, or, well, you name it. And it's exciting to see individuals having a heart for God and wanting to be used by God, but knowing they need to be equipped. And the Colson Fellows program is their program of equipment right now. The books are great. The articles that you're going to be reading are I think, really influential, very thoughtful. We've taken great care in providing these for you, these particular ones. The webinars, we have about 2 webinars, sometimes 3 a month. Most of them are on Monday night, some on Tuesday night, and then we have a few in lunchtime on, I think it's Wednesday. Brooke will correct me if I'm wrong on that, but and they're all recorded. So if you're gone or you can't be there, it'll be right there. Brooke will have you a link right away so that you can go and you can hear the presentation and hear the questions and everything, and you won't miss anything except actually being there, which is an awful lot of fun. And then there's videos. A lot of them are YouTube, some are TED Talks, and others. And these are catalysts. Not everything that you're going to see and read and hear is going to be Christian, and I think you expected that. It comes from culture, and a lot of what's said about culture can be an example, a good or a bad one. And we'll give you insight on those, but you're an adult, and you can figure it out as you go along the way. And your feedback is always appreciated as we work through this. As you know, as the program unfolds, we talk about worldviews, culture, cultural engagement, and how we actually do that. And I think engagement sometimes really just means awareness and love for the people around you. And it's amazing the doors that God opens up for you. And then we take January and we spend most of that month on issues related to the life movement, the sanctity of life. I have a 21-day prayer app for you to use. We have incredible speakers in that area as well. But as you know, issues related to the sanctity of life are hugely important from a biblical worldview. And we think it's important that we not lose sight of that. And it's interesting what's been happening lately in the pro-life movement. And Margaret Sanger is no longer the patron saint of Planned Parenthood, which is a huge step for them, a huge admission for them. And I'm hoping that so many people that are in that industry will begin to see the true nature of what abortion actually is. And Christians have always been saving babies from the very beginning, rescuing those children who had been left to die of exposure and starvation early on in the Roman Empire. And I think that that's just something that's very much the heart of God, why so many people are motivated in that realm. Well, after we work our way into developing your own mission and vision statement in the early part of 2021, we will start talking about how to apply what you've been learning. And that means that you think about ways in which you can take what you've learned and put together a plan to actually do it. And I won't give you examples now, but we have a lot of examples for you of what Colson Fellows have done over the last number of years. So there's no shortage of examples. But by the same token, you don't have to do something that someone else has done. Some people have started ministries. Some have started teaching programs. Some have done a lot of things online. A couple have written books. Some have run for political office. There's all kinds of things to be done. Others have joined existing ministries and gotten involved in ways that they never thought they would before. A lot of them have joined and become leaders of cohorts and helped the leadership of Colson Fellows cohorts. So there's all kinds of things that you can be doing. And along the way, we will talk about a teaching project that we'd like for you to do. And that's just merely taking the materials that you've been learning from. It can be any book. It can be, there are some video series that we have available for you if you want to use them, and teach some people the things that you've been learning. Now, some of you are already teachers, so that's no big deal. But others of you say, I could never stand up in front of people and teach. Well, it's interesting because I think you can, but you don't have to do it that way. You don't have to be in a formal class. I like to share the example of the one lady who had four high school girls, and they would meet at McDonald's once a week for, I think, for 6 weeks, going through one of the books. The girls would read the book, the chapter of the book, and they'd get together and they would talk about it. And she would guide them through that with some discussion questions that were at the end of the chapter. And for her, it was great. It was great. She loves Scottish food, and she loves high school kids. And so being in McDonald's with them was just what she ordered. Now, but the reason I bring this up now is because I want you to start praying about what God is going to do through you through this program. Some of you already have an idea. And that's awesome. It's interesting that there's some people who've had an idea of what they want to do, and by the time they get to the end of the program, God has changed that radically. And that's what you're praying for. God, speak to me in the place where I live, to look around and see what the needs are. Do you even know what they are? I know one church had, I know a lot of churches, our church did this as well. They did a survey around the church to find out what the needs are. And finding out that there were a number of kids in our area that go home on the weekends hungry. They don't eat anything on the weekends because of the opioid crisis. And parents just aren't there at all, mentally, physically, often. And so we help feed those kids. We give them backpacks full of food for the weekend. And that's just one thing we do. But also involved are opportunities in the local prisons and Mental Health Association. And well, the list is long. And once you start looking around and finding, it's amazing. One fellow who was in the Air Force, retired, through the program, decided he wanted to run for office. And so he ran for office, and it was pretty cool. He won. And I think that there are other opportunities that are not as thrilling as being in politics. That's a joke. It takes a special person nowadays to be in politics, but we need more believers there for sure. So, saying all that, to let you know too that once we get to the end, and this is something to pray about too, we would love to be able to have a commissioning program. We've done it every year except last year because of COVID-19. But we want to have at Wilberforce Weekend an opportunity to commission you as a Colson Fellow. Chuck was big. Chuck was a Marine, and he loved the commissioning idea. And it's like a graduation. I mean, it's pretty nice. It's at the end of the Wilberforce Weekend, Sunday morning at the big hotel. It's just a lovely, lovely program. And we are inviting those who went through the program this past year that didn't get to be formally commissioned to join as well. So we'll have a big group for that, and it'll be fabulous. It'll be fabulous. So pray that we'll be able to do that, because it'll be good to get everybody together. So if you have any needs, if you have questions, you have a cohort leader, talk to him, to her. If we can help you here at the Colson Fellows program, let us know. I say here, I'm in Asheville. Brooke is in Colorado Springs. Michael is in Dallas. And so we're all over the place, but virtually we are in your heart. How's that? Let us know how you're doing, how we can help you. Enjoy this year. God bless you. We're praying for you. Bye now.